Every single day we see Caroline Leavitt, Donald Trump's press secretary. It becomes more and more amusing, more and more comical. And today we're going to react to a couple clips from this press conference. It is another dimension that these individuals referring to MAGA are living in. And I don't know at this point if we're watching an actual AI generated character up talking to the American people on behalf of the president, but it is crazy. It is North Korean state TV level shit. Excuse my language. I'm going to show you in a second. Really quickly, if you don't know who I am, my name is Chris Mallory. I post political videos on the internet. I'm 23 years old. You may have seen me on Adam Mockler's channel before. I originally started posting on TikTok and Twitter and Instagram, and then have transitioned over to the YouTube side of things and tried to build my own channel and help out Adams on his channel. So it would mean a lot if you would subscribe down below and hit the like button. Why not? It goes such a long way. I truly love and appreciate each and every one of you. You guys have shown so much support lately, getting close to 100,000 subscribers, which is nuts. Thank you for all the support. Let's start here. The first couple of clips are going to be her responding to questions about the massive trove of emails we got today, clearly showing that Donald Trump was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, which we've known forever, but the emails today were seriously incredibly damning. I also uploaded a video today on that. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link down below. Let's take a look.
Mary.
Thank you, Kelly. Two questions on this. In the interest of transparency, why not just go ahead, release the full files on Epstein, get this all over with?
This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration ever. In fact, this administration, the Department of Justice, has turned over tens of thousands of documents to the American people. We are cooperating and showing support for the House Oversight Committee. That's part of the reason you are seeing these documents that were released today, because of the House Oversight Committee's and Republicans' efforts to get these out to the public. This administration also moved, the Department of Justice also moved to unseal grand jury testimony, which we know, unfortunately, a judge declined those requests. So this administration has done more than any, and it just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party. For now, they're talking about it all of a sudden because President Trump is in the Oval Office. But when Joe Biden was sitting in there, the Democrats never brought this up. This wasn't an issue that they cared about because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases. They care about trying to score political points against President Trump, as we have, of course, seen with this government shutdown. And this entire thing, again, it's not a coincidence to the American people at home. There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C. And it is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government. This is another distraction campaign by the Democrat and the liberal media, and it's why I'm being asked questions about Epstein instead of the government reopening because of Republicans and President Trump.
Absolutely absurd. That is an absurd answer. I want to point out, firstly, it's so disgusting to the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. Virginia Giuffre being a very prominent one. The report is that she took her own life just a few months ago. I believe members of her family contest whether if there was a possibly foul play involved in that. So that's why I say she reportedly took her own life. But her family members talk about this repeatedly. They voted for Trump and trusted Trump with the transparency on this. And they have, I mean, it's very intense to watch them give interviews about Donald Trump letting them down, Donald Trump saying disgusting things about Virginia Giuffre, treating Virginia Giuffre as if she's like an object, when, if you remember, he said, oh yeah, Virginia Giuffre worked at Mar-a-Lago, Jeffrey Epstein stole her from me. And it's just nuts to see them spin this in a way that is so not true. Victims are, the victims and the families of the victims, I should say, are asking for more transparency. The survivors are asking for more transparency. And this just whole answer is just garbage. Part of the reason they keep bringing up the whole Biden thing, why not Biden? That's not how the federal government works. In fact, it's supposed to be that the Department of Justice and the FBI, any three-letter agency, the CDC, the EPA, the SEC, these are supposed to be largely independent from the president. They're supposed to be sealed from political pressure so they can do their job and investigate things like Jeffrey Epstein and what's going on without feeling like there's potentially political ramifications there. It's why the DOJ indicted Joe Biden's own son. And when Joe Biden was asked about it, he said, yeah, I trust the DOJ to do what they do. Point blank, period. That's how it's been in American history for decades. And it no longer is. because of Donald Trump and the executive orders he signed and these, frankly, insane Christian nationalists who have this warped view of the Constitution. They have walked in and flooded these agencies with loyalists. For the first time ever, they've started mass firing people after he signed the executive order Schedule F. It gave him the ability to mass fire people at these federal agencies and hiring based on loyalty. And so now the DOJ is actively talking to the Trump administration about this constantly, and they're moving Ghislaine Maxwell to minimum security prisons to say, oh, Donald Trump had nothing to do with this. It's a giant cover-up. It's garbage. Let's go to the next clip.
Thanks for being here, Bev. Ouija.
Thank you, Caroline.
Sure.
I have your statement about the new Epstein emails that have been released by House Democrats. Separate from why you believe the emails were made public, can you address their substance? Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. And this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Giuffre. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Giuffre maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing, of why they chose to redact that name of a victim who has already publicly made statements about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and is unfortunately no longer with us.
Again, to the point about Virginia, I believe it's pronounced Giuffre, like the disrespect to her family when Caroline Leavitt has the audacity and Trump and these people to sit up on a stage and say, well, you should care about the victims, because when she testified or when she, originally talked to investigators about what was going on, she said this. And so, Trump's in the clear. Her whole family is screaming about how they voted for Trump and Trump has destroyed their life because of this. That it's clear that Trump is implicated in this in some way. That Trump let them down in every way and let down Virginia Giuffre herself. So it's just nonsensical. It's complete and utter effing garbage. How do you start a sentence? You're not even trying to spin it anymore. You're just lying. Hey, how do you feel about this real email between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, two convicted, sexual predators who traffic children? This email that says Donald Trump knew about it and he hung out with us all the time. And she's like, all the emails prove is that Donald Trump did nothing wrong. Oh my God, we're so past spins. There's no spins anymore. There's no like, oh, Caroline Leavitt or Trump is being misleading. They just lie. Hey, how do you feel about like the sky being blue? No, sky's red. But right there, it's blue. No, it's red. I mean, it's nuts. The alternate reality we're living in. Let's go to the next clip.
Government reopening because of Republicans and President Trump.
But given your interest in transparency, Caroline, why are White House officials then meeting with Representative Boebert in an effort to try and get her to not sign this petition calling for the release of the files?
Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration are willing to brief members of Congress whenever they please? Doesn't that show our level of transparency? Doesn't that show the level of transparency when we are willing to sit down with members of Congress and address their concerns? That's a defining factor of transparency. Having discussions with members of Congress about various issues, and I'm not going to detail conversations that took place in the Situation Room in the press briefing.
Right, that's because you're not briefing members of Congress. You're telling them, hey, here's the reality. If you vote to do anything with the victims who want more transparency, we will oust you. We'll make sure you never touch anything political ever again. You won't have a job. We'll primary you. You cannot go against our dear leader. That was the conversation they had. It's the conversation they have every single time. It's a cult, okay? If you go against the dear leader, you're screwed. And again, to the reporter's question, it's like there's so much conversation about how there's so much transparency in this White House, yet you guys say you have all this control and Donald Trump's rooting out the deep state and doing all these things. Just release the goddamn files. I mean, this video has been going on for like 10 minutes and we're listening to Caroline Leavitt, twist and weave and talk about all the transparency. Just release the files. You promised to do it. You haven't done it. You haven't done it because Donald Trump is in them. He's everywhere. He's best friends with Jeffrey Epstein and was probably sleeping with underage women. Certainly, definitely knew about what Jeffrey Epstein was doing and the trafficking. He knew. And so it's like, this is just it's so garbage. Let me play two more here, unrelated to Jeffrey Epstein, because still, this is literally North Korean state TV. Take a look.
You recently said you'd check with President Trump about wanting he needs to get an MRI on his recent trip to Walter Reed. Do you have any more detail on that?
I do, and I'm glad you asked. As stated in the memo provided on October 10th, President Trump received advanced imaging at Walter Reed Medical Center as part of his routine physical examination. The full results were reviewed by attending radiologists and consultants, and all agreed that President Trump remains in exceptional physical health, which I know all of you will see with your own eyes later this evening when he opens up his dinner to the press, and perhaps you will see him when he signs the bill to reopen the federal government. So,
wow, and we'll see how great he looks and how big his hands are, and we'll put a crown on his head, and we'll all bow down. Did you hear the wording Caroline Leavitt just used? Part of his routine physical, an MRI. I do that all the time. Yep. Last week I was bored. I was like, I haven't gotten a physical in a while, so I called up my doctor and I was like, yeah, I want a physical. And let's just throw in an MRI. Fuck it. My insurance will cover just a random MRI for no reason. My insurance will cover that. Yep. Americans do that all the time. I mean, this is what this is. Ready? This right here. This. It's literally North Korean state TV. Our dear leader, our supreme leader, he's in great health. He's never been in better health. He plays the best golf. He does the best things. He looks amazing. He's not orange. He's a little orange. But we think he looks great in orange. Just unbelievable. All right, last clip before we get out of here. Take a listen.
Economists, investors, and policymakers at the Federal Reserve to receive critical government data. The Democrats may have permanently damaged the federal statistical system with October CPI and jobs reports likely never being released. And all of that economic data released will be permanently impaired, leaving our policymakers at the Fed flying blind at a critical period.
I know that clip is kind of short and it's confusing. There's not really a lot of explanation here. That's kind of what I wanted to point out with this last clip. Economically, the White House is literally claiming right now that the job numbers, the CPI data, like the inflation data we're going to get, is going to be irreparably screwed up for the future because of something that Democrats did. It literally makes no sense. It sounds like, I don't know, if like a 6-year-old had to explain how the federal government worked and how the Bureau of Labor Statistics released economic data, this would be what we're taught, that this would be what we hear. It's nonsensical. It makes no sense. And it's hilarious to see them teeing up as we see the economic data get worse and worse and worse, layoffs increasing, the slowest pace of hiring besides the pandemic since 2009. My demographic, the highest unemployment rate, excluding the pandemic, since 2016. I mean, inflation rising, everybody, all the economic indicators and economists themselves saying this is because of Trump's tariffs and the damage that he's doing. And so they're teeing this up. The literal claim here is the numbers coming out are skewed. The numbers from our Bureau of Labor Statistics and just from any economist, they are skewed because the Democrats did something that makes it so the numbers will always be screwed up forever. What? It's comical. I don't know if these people have any souls. I actually mean that. I'm curious if Caroline Leavitt in like 5 years will be done with this administration and write a book about how it was super evil and she feels bad, or if she's just soulless and they just don't care that they lie so often. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments down below. I appreciate you watching this video. Truly, it means the world. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Almost to Friday. Let me know if you have any fun weekend plans in the comments down below. I appreciate you a lot. You guys are the best. I will see you in the next video.